Hello, we're back. We're back on a white backdrop this time because I wanted to switch it up. And see how it feels, how it looks. And I want to welcome everyone back to Boy Movie Corner. This is a place where I talk about boy movies, or I explain to boys why they should watch girl movies. And I don't have to do any explaining to my non-binary friends because they get the picture. You guys get it. They already understand. They understand. So welcome back, 100 subscribers. Nice. You guys have been liking and subscribing, and I appreciate all the love on the Gone Girl video. I want to do something very similar, eerily similar. Ooh, should I wear my vest? I bought a great vest. Oh. Not bad, not bad. If you don't know me, my name is Aaron Murray Vasquez. I'm a filmmaker and photographer here in New York City. Let's get started. So today I am talking about my top 5-star, watch every year, favorite Sandra Bullock movie, Miss Congeniality. This to me is a perfect film. You know, you go on Letterboxd and you see what are the number one films up there, you know, Godfather, The Dark Knight, The Joker. But to me, this is a perfect film. This film has action, has comedy, has class criticism, is suspenseful, is lighthearted, speaks on a cultural issue, and does it all in 90 minutes. So don't have to sit in this theater for 3 hours or have to listen to Adrian Brody ramble on about what the hell was he even talking about at the Oscars. Holy shit. The Oscars were last night. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyways, never mind that. And before I get to the main idea, the simplest idea, I want to talk about the similarities between this film and another film that won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Screenplay, Silence of the Lambs. I think they might actually be the same movie. You don't believe me. I didn't believe me. When I first thought about this, I didn't believe me either. I'm right there with you. So you want me to give you the facts? I'll give you the facts. So in Silence of the Lambs, they're looking for a serial killer. And in Miss Congeniality, they're looking for a terrorist. And the second difference is, instead of being thrown in a world of men, this FBI agent gets thrown into a world of women. Okay, you want more proof? Okay. Let's go into shrink mode. Whoa. Okay, I'm nice and small now. Now I can operate. Let's take a look at our similarities. We have a young FBI agent who's trying to break into the ranks. We have a superior who's interested in her, who recruits her for a special project. The FBI is going after somebody that is very dangerous, that is obsessed with vanity. We've got a representative of this system who distracts and entertains. And finally, the agency tasks our young FBI agent to meet with a eccentric megalomaniac in order to help them get closer to solving the murder. Okay, let's enhance. But in all seriousness, I do think that these films have a very similar structure, and I think that that's why they both work really well. They have a lot of the same pieces, but again, what I was talking about with Gone Girl and genre, Miss Congeniality is much more interested in entertaining than something like Silence of the Lambs, which is meant to be intriguing. And so while they have the same elements, one genre and another genre create two very different movies with two very different legacies. Not for me, but for other people. Maybe you. I also want to say, you know, as president of Boy Movie Corner, I want to say if women in my audience want to add more in the comments, feel free. I'm only speaking of things from my perspective, and I don't want to pretend like I know what living life in the feet of women is like. This conversation is mainly about Grace, Sandra Bullock's character. So, you know, if you want to inject more, feel free in the comments. I'd be all ears. Let's keep going. So I want to get started with the simplest idea, which is Grace embraces her femininity and becomes a better person for it. So without a doubt, Grace Hart / Grace C. Lou Freebush, she is fierce, she's funny, she's a force. So Grace has a lot of prejudices in her own self towards girls, towards women. We see this at the beginning, where as a child, she sticks up for a boy she likes, and the boy mocks her because now everybody knows that he needs a girl to stand up for her.
I like you. Well, I don't like you. Now everybody thinks I need a girl to fight for me. You are a dork brain.
So before she's even an adult, she has a disdain for girls. She has a disdain for who she is. A lot of this continues to happen throughout the movie. She mocks womanhood.
Milk.
White wine spritzer.
And she mocks general femininity outright. And her biggest fear isn't being a woman. It's that she's not taken seriously. And she wants to be taken seriously. And in her mind, women aren't taken seriously. And to then be thrown into a beauty pageant by the FBI, the people that she's trying to garner approval and rise up the ranks, this is the worst nightmare. It's borderline tragic and hilarious. She's trying to prove that she is one of the boys. And anytime she's next to them, she stands like them, she walks like them, she talks like them, but they don't accept her either.
You know, Gracie, I would love to get a woman's point of view.
Oh, no, Beth. You're barking up the wrong tree. Right, Hart?
And like a lighthearted example of how she wants to be taken seriously is how the film just codes getting the coffee scene. She's blazing through the streets. She parks, she gets out, she's, shoves her way to the front, and then it just turns out that she's ordering coffee.
All right, I need 8 double tall.
That's kind of how this character wants to be. She wants to be important. She wants to be taken seriously. And in her world, men aren't taking women seriously. So she rejects that. And so the movie starts with her getting cast out. She doesn't let this dude choke to death because in her mind, she believes he deserves to be prosecuted. But she disrespects an order, which leads to one of their cops getting shot. Yeah! What was that? Don't add the yeah. She tumbles down after this mistake, and her way out of it is to go into the darkness. She is one of the few people who can infiltrate this world because she's not a man. And this secretly becomes a power for her to shut the men out of her life because they're not allowed in this world. That's what I kind of like about this movie too, is it kind of does a little like boys rule, girls drool, but flips that. And I want to talk about one of my favorite scenes when they go through this like clueless computer thing where they put a dress on everybody. And then they come to the realization that maybe Sandra Bullock's character, Grace, can be somebody who can infiltrate this world.
I'm not going to parade around in a swimsuit like some airhead bimbo that goes by the name of, Gracie Lou Freebush, and all she wants is world peace?
And they have this whole dialogue conversation in a wrestling match. And it's very physical, back and forth, that represents what's happening in the conversation. So as Eric begins to be more persuasive, he takes more advantage in the fight. And as Grace pushes back, she lands counter punches and counter moves until finally Eric gets what appears to get the final blow that lands her to accept, but also she proves that she can best him. I love this scene because it's so action-packed, and instead of two people conversating with each other, it's so much more active and engaging, and you're getting a lot of information as an audience member, but also getting so much character. And there's this like romantic tension that is built there. He's as attracted to her in the wrestling scene as he is when they're at the pool and he's briefing her. So we bring in our Hannibal Lecter character, Victor Melling. Love Victor Melling. Great character. Love Victor Melling. He brings a lot of sass.
If you are Grace Hart, I quit here and now.
Yeah, it's having a bad hair day.
Brings a lot of sass to the film.
What was the question? I was distracted by the half-masticated cow rolling around in your wide-open trap.
Excuse me, what is your problem?
There's a lot of dated jokes with him, but I enjoy the makeover scene is so militant and also just so hilariously shitting on Grace the whole time.
Eyebrows. There should be 2.
He's able to unlock the femininity that Grace has rejected for her whole life. And the Mustang Sally song as she's walking out is an insane reveal. It's so cool. It's so good. And it also begins to heighten how piggish the FBI agents she works with are.
Okay, Gracie Lou, listen up. Operation Thaw has commenced.
Why don't you stun gun yourself?
I knew she'd like that one.
She begins to see how piggish her FBI agents have always been. Now that she's seen as a woman, things begin to turn a little bit. And so when she's prepping to go in, Grace is mocking them to their faces. But she isn't doing it like this. She is putting on a caricature of themselves.
Not anything like, baton twirling or anything. So, what's your talent? Oh, Cheryl, I'm sorry.
She is believable and she is welcomed in. And then something strange begins to happen. She begins to rely on these women more. When she goes out there on her own and she now has to rely and gather intel from these women to see maybe who the terrorist is. What is this person's motivation? What is that person's motivation? As the movie goes along, she begins to see the value of these women and that they are very misunderstood.
Oh, and another thing. She threatens me, and according to Mary Jo, she has a history of violent behavior.
Who the hell is Mary Jo?
They are very misunderstood, not just by the public, but by Grace herself.
But is that enough? Have you no pride in yourself, in your presentation?
You know what? I'm an FBI agent, all right? I'm not a performing monkey in heels.
You're also a person, and an incomplete one at that. In place of friends and relationships, you have sarcasm and a gun.
Grace has misunderstood these women. And how do I know this? Because during the question segment, she gets explicitly asked this.
New Jersey. As you may know, there are many who consider the Miss United States pageant to be outdated and anti-feminist.
I used to be one of them. And then I came here, and I realized that these women are smart, terrific people who are just trying to make a difference in the world.
And what she say? Rewarding, liberating.
And for me, this experience has been one of the most rewarding and liberating experiences of my life.
She's beginning to tap into a well that she has never drawn from. And the more she goes down this path, the more these women love her. And why do they love her? They don't love her because she is fitting in with them.
That's easy. World peace.
World peace.
What is the one most important thing our society needs?
That would be harsher punishment for parole violators, Stan. And world peace.
They love Grace because she is explicitly encouraging them to stand out. She encourages Rhode Island with the flaming batons.
First step pizza, second step flaming batons.
She encourages them to eat pizza and beer and go out and party and have fun. And this was after Rhode Island accidentally mistook the perfect date as a day on the calendar.
Describe your perfect date.
I'd have to say April 25th, because it's not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket.
When I say this is one of my favorite films, this is one of my favorite films. I proposed to my wife on April 25th. It's the perfect date. She laughs when she shouldn't. She falls over when she's not supposed to. She has to improv her talent, which is to teach women how to protect themselves from predators attacking them. Very relevant.
Anyway, he attacked me.
Cheryl, did you report him?
Oh no, I never told anyone before this. I know that kind of thing happens all the time.
No, it doesn't.
Relevant then, relevant now. Relevant then, relevant now. What's up with dudes, man? She even sniffs out that the FBI is down the wrong path with Miss Rhode Island because she's spent time with him and knows that this person could not do these things.
One time I stole red underwear from the department store. My mother wouldn't buy them for me. She said they were Satan's panties.
And by the end, when everything has fallen apart for Grace and everybody has abandoned her, the FBI, Eric, Victor, Morningside, who is there? These women.
Ladies!
Now, first thing we need to deal with is Eva. You gotta get it together. Oh my
God.
By the beginning of the movie, she is surrounded by men who are actively suppressing her And by the end of the movie, she is surrounded by women who are uplifting her. Fuck, I love this movie. Ugh. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. In my episode 2 of trying to find your idea for writing a film, I talk about one of the things I learned about myself was that I love underdog movies. And so often, films that are written by women or directed by women really lean in on from a perspective of an underdog. And I really love this movie because of it.
You wanna know why I picked you?
Lost a bet.
Because you're smart. Because you don't take any crap from people. You're funny. You're easy to talk to when you're not armed. Give yourself a break. Cut Vic and the rest of the pageant ladies some slack. Because if they ever get a chance to see what I see, then they're gonna love you.
And also, as I got older, I understood that like the world that women have been put in for centuries, how men think about women for centuries, even now, even today, they think of lesser, they think of you're only good for one thing. That kind of thing is just like antisocial, isolationist. Women are as complex as men, they're as ambitious as men, they're positive, they're negative, they have ups, they have downs. That the world that they've come up in is so restrictive. For Grace to go from baggy jeans, loose clothes, to having to be fit, shaved, waxed, tight, everything, that's a representation of the restrictiveness that this movie wants to highlight. Men can be this way, but for women, it's this way. So that's my simplest idea. This film is a love letter to women. The diversity, the bravery, the resourcefulness, the resilience, and a criticism of the world they live in. This is a perfect film. On top of all of the politics of it, it is funny, it is entertaining, it has some classic lines.
It is not a beauty pageant. It is a scholarship program. Yeah. Yes.
It's got some classic performances. I think this is Sandra Bullock's best role. Let me know if you agree. And if you agree, especially with the part at the end where I started to black out and rant, let me know. And if not, keep it to yourself. But do hit the like either way because we're at 100 subscribers. Boom. Love that for y'all and for me. We're in this together. And if you have any recommendations of movies you'd like me to review, otherwise I'm just going to keep figuring out movies that I'm going to do. My wife says I should do something more relevant. Not more relevant, more current, modern. I feel like there's not a lot of movies I have the same passion for nowadays than films like that. I'm looking for films that are in the 2020s that make me feel something similar, but I just love movies and I want to keep talking about them. I'll see you soon. Boop.
And
I really do want world peace.